Hey, welcome. So I think we're good. I think I did it. Let me just double check, make sure it's working. Um, I think so. I hope so. I don't see it when I refresh my group, but let me see real quick on Facebook here. So today we are gonna do, there we go. Yep, we're working. All right. Today we are going to be working a pelvic floor focused workout. Um, it is kind of a way to show you how to do full body, how to focus on your pelvic floor. It is with the pelvic floor in mind, so that will always come first. Um, I have today, you'll need a foam roller, a light to medium dumbbell, and a yoga block. If you don't have these things, a stack of books works. A water bottle for a weight works. A rolled up towel can work, okay? Um, so really limited equipment that you can adjust really quickly at home on your own. So grab a stack of books and a yoga block or a yoga block, a foam roller or a really tightly rolled towel, and a medium weight of any kind, something that you can hold pretty easily in one hand that gives you good resistance, okay? And then let's get to it. Um, we are gonna do so again, equipment really quickly, I'll give you some time to grab it while I'm going over a few things. So again, the yoga block or stack of books, your foam roller or a nicely rolled towel, and a medium weight that you can easily hold in one hand. I'm going to move the dumbbell off to the side for now because we're not going to start with that right away. Okay. We're going to do 2 exercises for 2 rounds just to get the pelvic floor warmed up, to get our core warmed up, to help make that connection back to our core and pelvic floor together. And then we'll move into the core, the meat, the body of it, and we'll go through it together 3 times, okay? If you have any questions, it's really hard from this distance to see them, but I will do my best to check in once in a while, see if I can answer them for you. Otherwise, I'll come back to them at the end. So if you're watching live, give me a wave, let me know you're here. If you are catching the replay, hashtag replay. And let's get started, okay? So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna join me on the floor with your foam roller. Yoga block can be slightly off to the side. And I want that foam roller over your head. Okay. And then you are gonna place your forearms close to that wrist on the foam roller with your palms facing each other. Knees are bent. And then we're gonna just work on about 6 big, deep, full 360 breaths. However, as you exhale, I want you to press down and reach up with that foam roller. So, as an example, big full inhale. Thinking about inhaling into the floor, into your sides. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor. Press and reach. Relax. So you want to keep the reach with your inhale, but you can relax the press. Big full inhale, exhale. Try and reach a little bit more. Keeping that rib cage down. So don't arch your back to make more reach happen. Do about 6 big breaths on your own. Making sure that they're always audible on that exhale. Okay, and now we're gonna grab that yoga block, or if you have a stack of books, one knee is gonna go on the yoga block, you are going to have your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees, okay? And then this knee that is not on the yoga block is going to lift up and down. Okay, for 12, count that on your own. You don't have to use the foam roller, but this is a great visual. So as you lift that opposite hip, it would be as if you are rolling this foam roller up and down your thighs. Okay, again, you don't have to, but it can be really helpful, good feedback for the movement. And then make sure as you do this, you're not shifting and that upper body is staying relatively stationary, and that this movement is truly coming from your hips. And you should even feel that core working a good bit as well. Then once you've done 12, you're going to switch sides. So again, this is just kind of warming up the hips, the pelvis, the core, really making sure that that pelvic floor and core are connected and on board and prepped for our workout later. And we're just going to do these one more time each. So you can put that yoga block off to the side, coming back on your back. Now this is where if you don't have the foam roller, you might be using that towel rolled up. You just want to make sure that you can get it a little bit firmer. So that can be a little bit of a challenge if you don't have the foam roller. Big full inhales, exhale, press and reach. Again, doing about 6. Try and keep that neck relaxed. You should feel the muscles in your mid to upper back. That's okay. Those are working with every press. I'm actually gonna get this guy out of the way completely now. Going back to that yoga block again, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And this can be where it can be really helpful sometimes to film yourself, or at least look in a mirror or use your phone like a mirror so that you can make sure you're in the right position and that you're not cheating. 12, and then you'll switch. Now, for me too, when I have that setup I just had with my left knee on the yoga block, I feel my core working a lot more, and that's okay. It just means that that side needs a little extra help from my core, or my core kicks in better, and that's why we do single leg work. Twelve on your own. And then we will still need, actually, we will not need the yoga block. You can use it if you want, and I'll show you what that'll look like when we get there. Oops, we're gonna go back to our back. So now we're going into the meat of the exercises. We will not repeat those shifts or that overhead breathing. Now, if it felt good and you really liked it, feel free to incorporate it in your workout. And maybe you just keep going at your own pace and you incorporate it back into this circuit. That's completely fine. But we're gonna go into dead bugs. So from here, you can either just kind of go into your leg slides. You can go into knee lifts. I'm gonna bring my knees up here and I'm gonna do heel taps with my opposite arm. Alternating sides, we're doing 10 each, 20 total on your own, making sure you're keeping that core super engaged. You can exhale as you lower. Okay, going to a level, you can straighten your legs, completely up to you, makes it a little bit harder, but you want to go to a level that really challenges your ability to keep good form, but isn't impossible. So maybe the first 10 reps feel really good, really strong, and then you start to waver. That's a good spot. Maybe you need to do the first 10 reps at a higher level and then drop down. Okay, also okay. 10 each, 20 total. You know, maybe round one, you can do this version, and then after that, it's too much, so you need to drop down a little bit. Totally okay. You want to make sure that you're challenging yourself enough that you feel it, but you can keep the form. All right, so now we're going to do the first exercise with that dumbbell. You will want to be against a wall, a couch, a bed frame, something like that, okay? You're going to place your foot up so that the bent knee is at 90 degrees. Weight is in really whichever hand feels most comfortable for you. I like doing left leg is planted, right leg has the weight personally, but play with it and see how it feels. You can do same arm, same leg, totally okay. And then we're gonna go 12 hinges here. Okay, so what that looks like from the side, knee stays over midfoot, back nice and tall. So if this foot was on the wall, I'd be here, okay? So you are pushing those hips back towards the wall behind you, a little bit of a twist towards that front knee. If you have same arm, same leg, you're twisting still towards that front knee so that that dumbbell comes down right in front of your shin. Make sure that as you stand, you're pushing through your hips, not arching your rib cage or your back to do it. You're going to do 12 and then you'll switch sides. Making sure big toe, pinky toe, and heel are all in contact without gripping. Think about that core, helping pull that pelvis through. And you should really be feeling this all the way down, butt and back of the hamstring. This is one of my favorites. Really helps keep your hips healthy. Really good for getting rid of that pancake booty. And again, like I said before, we really want to work single leg so that we can feel a difference from side to side, so we can balance out that difference from side to side and pay attention to any asymmetries. Asymmetries. Woo! It's really hard sometimes to talk and lift. Good. Okay, so again, foot is knee staying over that midfoot, not gripping our toes. One side might feel different than the other. Pay attention to that. Make note of it. It's okay, totally okay. But the more we're aware of it, the more we can acknowledge it, the better you can move going forward. The better you can program workouts going forward. Okay, and if you notice, I have my hand on my lower back as a way to make sure that I don't arch my lower back in order to stand. Like that one wasn't very good. Good. 12, and then we will come down onto the floor with this dumbbell. Okay, make sure you have enough clearance so you can see that I'm near the wall that I just used. I'm actually going to be doing a chest fly with this arm. Actually, we'll do chest press. I think I like that a little bit better today. So just making sure that you have that clearance to bring the elbow down, okay? Make sure as we do this chest press, we're also going to be moving our legs, that you are not coming straight out at a 90-degree angle. You should be at a slight angle from your shoulder, okay? Now, bring those knees up to 90. My right arm is going to chest press as I drop my left knee slightly to, as I drop my knees slightly to the left. Okay, really trying to make sure that your shoulders stay in contact with the ground. And even like the rib cage really as a whole should stay in contact with the ground. So don't go any further than where that bottom right side rib cage tries to lift. You're gonna do 10, and then we're switching. Okay, you can bring those feet down, shake it out a minute. I want you to keep this non-working arm in the air. Okay, now my left hand is chest press, knees drop to the right. Trying to maintain that 90-degree angle the whole time. You almost want to think about your right hip, left rib cage, left hip, right rib cage connecting. So if you're feeling that lower back at all, really try and think about that crisscross, that X shape in your core, and use that to help lift those knees back up. Carefully lowering the dumbbell. Okay, and then I'm going to have you come up to standing. We are going to do some yielding front lunges. You can do this with or without the weight. You can also add a step if you have access to it. I'm not doing it with the step today. I am going to do it with the weight today. But again, you can do all of this just body weight or elevate and go from a higher surface. Just make sure you can master this lower level before you elevate your surface. Right hand has the dumbbell. I'm going to step with my left. We are going to come up onto our toes. You won't be here long, so I know balance is a little bit tough, so just hang out for a second. You're going to come up into your toes, and you're going to take a big, dramatic, heavy step forward. And then I want you to catch yourself really softly using your exhale. So it'll look like this, coming up onto those toes. Really good catch in that lunge. And then you're just stepping back, coming up on those toes. Okay, 12, and then we'll switch legs. Again, use your breath. So use that exhale on your catch. And you can try same side, same weight. Totally up to you. See what feels good. You can hold it at your chest as well. Okay. All just depends on your body, what feels good, what you need, and what it'll help accomplish for you. Again, 12, and then switch sides. Don't worry so much about the lunge back. However, you do want to try and push through that front heel to stand back up. Coming nice and high. Okay, again, you can do these off a step, off a bench. You know, careful getting too tall. But adding that height is a way to progress this. Challenge the pelvic floor a little bit So if you're a runner, that's a great thing to work towards before you get back out on the road and run, and make sure your pelvic floor can handle that load. Good. Now, we are going to go into a side plank with a front hamstring drag. So you can also elevate to a chair for this if you need to. Again, this depends on where you're at. Okay. You are going to bring this top foot in front, as close to a 90-degree angle as you can get from the hip. Bottom leg is straight out, shoulders over elbow. You're lifting, and then I want you to drag that heel towards your hips. So I want you to feel that hamstring working, okay? You're thinking about that full big inhale, audible exhale, lifting the pelvic floor, still dragging back on that hamstring, getting that top hip really high. So you should feel, if you let go, we got 2 seconds. You should feel the hips untuck a little bit if that hamstring isn't pulling. Okay, so again, top foot comes, might need to help it a little bit, as close to 90 as you can. And you should, as you lift up and drag that hamstring back, feel the lower abs and the pelvis engage more and tuck a little bit. Okay, so you're pretending it's stuck in super glue, and it's not actually going to move, but you're trying to make it. Just watching the clock, so if I keep looking down, that's what I'm doing. Only holding for 30 seconds. Good. Now, like I said, if that's too difficult, go ahead and elevate. Put your elbow on a chair. Okay, nothing wrong with it. And work towards the floor. Oh, we should have stayed there. I'm sorry, we were going back to those dead bugs. 10 each. 20 total. On your count, find the level that works best for you. Big full inhale. Exhale. It could also be that maybe this level works best for you without the arms for right now. Okay, that's okay too. So since you know what's coming now, a little less conversation, a little more moving. Okay, this second round should be a little bit more about, okay, I figured it out. This feels good. I can do these movements. Grabbing that dumbbell. That third round will then start to be like, okay, it's challenging my form. And I need to make sure that as I'm tired, I can fight through that and keep my form strong. Doing that single leg hinge. Now, if for some reason there's nowhere to put your foot up, you could put it on a bench or a chair as well. Or just kind of kickstand it off the floor. That's okay too. Whew. Remember, 12 each. Turn off. I'm in the garage, so the heater was necessary to start with. I don't know where you guys are located, but today, January 3rd, in Florida, we woke up to some frost. I'm northeast in Jacksonville, so really top of Florida, so almost Georgia. We're supposed to get really, really cold in the next week. Talking teens, low 20s, so that should be interesting. Now, being from up north, not something I've never seen before, but it's been a while. So today, whew, the heater came up. Now, I'm losing my balance a little bit because I'm kind of seeing myself move in the camera. I'm not keeping in check with my core. Those are reasons that you might be falling over a little bit. Again, checking base of big toe, base of pinky toe, heel should always be in contact. And I lost track, but that feels like 12. So we're gonna go to that chest press with a knee drop. So again, remember that arm does not come straight out to the side. You're thinking about opposite hips to opposite rib cage, helping make those legs lower and lift. So really, as I lower to my left, I should feel this top rib, the obliques near that right rib, work the hardest. You're doing 10 each. That means that I'm connecting to the opposite hip. So in this case, now my left hand has the dumbbell, so I'm going to feel that left external oblique. And we're thinking right internal oblique. Okay, so keep that cross connection in mind as you lower and lift. Use that cross connection, not your back, to make the lift happen. And I will say it's also quite hard to count and talk through this as well. But we're getting it done. Okay, we're going to those yielding lunges. So again, if we do it body weight, totally okay. If you want to add the step, also okay. Take a hair fixing break if you need it. You got 12 on each side. Okay. Now, ideally, I should have probably taken a short break at the end of the round, let you grab some water, that kind of thing. But that's the best time to do this. So dead bugs start the round, that side plank ends the round. Try and get through all of these before you take a break. Do the whole circuit and then rest for a minute or two. Okay? If that's something that's hard right now, then that's something to work towards. Repeat this workout until you can do that. Remember, we're doing 12 of these. Up on those toes, catch. And that is what the pelvic floor is designed to help us do. And that's oftentimes why we struggle to, let me say that again. That's oftentimes why we leak when we do things like jump, sneeze, cough, run, because your catch is not super strong. So that's why we're working on this. And then really this whole workout, again, is with the pelvic floor focus And if you notice how much it's not just sitting there doing Kegels, okay? It is lunges, chest press, planks, okay? All of those things. Woo! Come on, core. Good. And then we've got that side plank with the hamstring drag. And then you're wondering a little bit why this is all pelvic floor related as well. So I mentioned in round one, when you do the hamstring drag, you should feel the pelvis tuck a little bit. You should feel that hamstring engage. We're going to go up in 5 seconds, okay? And all of that is connected through the pelvic floor. Good. Up, drag that foot back, breathing here. So our core, our pelvic floor, and our hamstrings are all super, super tied together at the pelvis. And your pelvic floor may have a weakness, it may leak, it may hurt, your hips may hurt, your lower back may hurt. Rest, switching sides. If any one of those things is out of whack. So in order to best support the pelvic floor, we need to think about things like our hamstrings, our obliques, our lower abs, our deep core. Good. 3 seconds, and we're up. Good. Up. Again, dragging that foot back. Feel that hamstring engage. Feel the pelvis tuck. Breathing here. Okay. And because you're having the hamstring tuck the pelvis and you're working that core, you're getting yourself in an optimal posture. And that's where the pelvic floor is going to have the most success. And rest. Good. One final round. So grab some water if you need it. Catch your breath a second. We're going to come back to the dead bugs, okay? So I'm not getting up yet. I'll just give you a minute to breathe and catch your breath. Let me see if there's any comments or questions I can check in on. Okay, awesome. Phew. So again, in this third round, now we're going to start to test our ability to keep our form. We're going to start to test our ability to fight the fatigue, maybe some of the strain, okay? So this is where it's going to really count and really matter to push through, focus on that good form, and we'll talk a little bit about each one that I haven't yet mentioned, where the pelvic floor comes into play, because I know that's why you're here, okay? And then you can always do a fourth round if you're feeling up to it. You know, you could repeat this workout, and one way to improve, progress is to add that fourth round. Like I said, you can also incorporate that overhead breathing and the hip shifts into the circuit if you'd like as well. Okay. But we're going back to those dead bugs. I actually think I'm going to drop it down a level because I'm feeling it. It was already challenging, so I'm going to be here now. Actually, I think let's do this way. Same arm, same leg. Okay, still doing 10 each, 20 total. Because of all the core and pelvic floor work, I am still feeling this. And so that's how I know that I challenged myself the right way in the first 2 rounds, and I'm making the right call in this final round. lost track, so I'll just do one more each. That feels about 20. Okay, and then we're gonna do those single leg RDLs on the wall. Remember, whoops, that bent knee stays over your midfoot, really pushing through the hips. Okay, so this, let me back up a little bit. Those dead bugs, really good place to start to connect to that deep core. Your pelvic floor really needs that deep core. They are best friends, they are super connected, and they absolutely need to work together. Okay, so that's a really great place. That's one of the first exercises I have clients perfect, pair with their breath. Really important first step for the pelvic floor and core, and regaining the way you want this to look and feel and appear postpartum. Okay, now a lot of times, most times, as pregnant women, we lose a little bit of the ability to lengthen in our butt. We wind up gripping, tucking, over rounding, sometimes just kind of shoving everything forward. And that really can lead to some problems with the pelvic floor, with how our posture looks, how our body feels. And so getting length in your butt again is incredibly important and helpful. And I've already mentioned it, and I will die on this hill, but single leg exercises are absolutely your best friend postpartum. Because the way we compensate, the way we handle pregnancy, all of that good stuff is very much different from side to side. It depends on how the baby sits, it depends on how the belly grows, just depends on how your body was prior to ever getting pregnant. Okay. And then on these, I've talked about that deep cross connection, which we also lose because that belly gets in the way. Okay. And that cross connection is incredibly important to make sure that we don't wind up using our back all the time. Ten of these, and then you're switching. Okay. And then getting that chest strong and getting that shoulder blade to move with the arm movement here really helps that cross connection be successful. We get so tight in our chest and so weak in our chest at times that it really loses. The body is so interconnected, and it is so important that everything works as a functional unit in order to stay healthy and out of pain. All right, we got those yielding lunges. 2 more exercises, and then you guys are done and out of here, okay? 30 minutes, give or take. I talked a little bit in the beginning, so really truly it's just a 30-minute workout. Again, if you're feeling fatigued, you're feeling like you can't have a good catch, you're falling over a little bit, maybe this round you do body weight. Okay, totally okay. You know, the one thing I will say about living in Florida, and I just don't know if I'll ever get used to, is the geckos. The reason I say that, remember we're doing 12 on each leg. is because when the heater was running, I thought it smelled a little funny. There's a gecko stuck in my heater. I'm gonna have to watch that so it's not a fire hazard later. He's between the screen and the heat source. I don't know how they ever get in these places. Sure enough, there he is. He's probably cooking the little guy. Hopefully I can pop that screen off and get him out. But they get in the strangest places. Smallest cracks and crevices. And they're fast and really hard to catch. Luckily, we don't get too many inside the house. It's usually if you're not paying attention and he's on the door when you open it or something like that. And that happens a lot when we let our dog out in the backyard. They'll be on the outside of the door and we won't have any idea. We'll open the door to let him out. And the little guy drops in just to say hello, I guess. So if you can tell, I'm starting to breathe harder. Well, not starting, I have been. These are gonna get your heart rate up too. But it's all focused on that pelvic floor's ability to catch. Good. Last one. So we've got that side plank. I'm just racking my dumbbell, getting it completely out of the way, because that's it for it. All right. That hamstring drag, pretending like it is in super glue. We are up. Drag that hamstring back. Breathing here. If you feel your lower back, think about bringing your shoulders towards the floor a little bit more. Not so open here. But make sure that you are really dragging that hamstring back. Don't grip your toes. 5 seconds. Good. Switching sides. Last 30 seconds and then we're done. You guys are free to go. I'm very proud of you. We're coming up in 3, 2, 1. Dragging that hamstring back. You're here. You're showing up. You're doing the damn thing. And I'm proud of you. Here we got 10 seconds down, 20 to go. Almost there. Breathe it out, dragging that hamstring. 10 seconds. 3, 2, awesome job. Like I said before, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I will be happy to answer them for you as soon as I can. And I hope you guys are having a great sweaty day and that you enjoyed that workout. And I will catch you in February with our workout of the month for that. And I will see you before then. But again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I'm proud of you and thank you so much for joining me. Bye, guys.